Well, getting closer to November, the battle over tax cuts could play a big role in the midterm elections. We know that for sure. Also, candidates across the country are wondering how the Tea Party will impact their campaigns. We're going to discuss both of this with Republican Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina. He sits on the Homeland Security Committee and the Judiciary Committee. A very busy time. We thank you for joining us. And nice to see you and Congressman Van Hollen kind of high-five when you guys are friendly.
I wished him luck. He's going to need it, I think.
You know, you've been known, though, as a Republican that has been able to reach across the aisle.
I think that's part of the job up here, is to say no to bad ideas and try to find a way forward on common problems for the country.
So are you willing then to reach across the aisle when it comes to tax cuts?
Well, on the tax cuts, I think the goal is jobs. Does tax policy affect jobs? The answer is yes. If you raise taxes on anybody now, you're going to hurt job growth. There are 5 Democrats in the Senate who want to extend the Bush tax cuts. I want to reach across the aisle with them to come up with a package that will allow us to extend all the tax cuts and quit playing class warfare. Tax policy is about the global economy. We tax way too much here. If you make $1 million, good for you. 39.6% is too much of anyone's money to take. 35% I think is too much. So I'm not interested in raising taxes on anybody. I'm interested in creating jobs. So I'll reach across the aisle with Democrats who want to extend the tax cuts.
But we also know, though, that tax cuts can't cure everything.
Right.
They're not a panacea for the recession. They're not a panacea also for job growth. So what's your additional thoughts on what else we can do for the economy?
Well, the first rule of politics and medicine are the same: do no harm. If you increase taxes now, you will harm the ability of the economy to recover. I think we need to do, one, free spending. The less money we spend up here, the better our national debt situation will get. If you want to create jobs in the private sector, let's make sure that we don't raise capital gains taxes. If you want corporations to expand, allow people to buy stock at preferential tax rates rather than doubling the stock.
And you're talking about
rates.
the other taxes that are involved with these tax cuts expiring. It's not just about income tax.
Right. No, exactly. Capital gains taxes, a lot of Americans rely on that. If you increase capital gains taxes, people do less business deals, and the less business deals they do, the harder it is to create jobs. Are
you willing to say, okay, well, we'll keep the tax cuts for another year or another 2 years as a way to bring more Democrats on the side of Senate Republicans?
I think 3 years would do us well. We're sort of bottoming out here, bumping along. Housing got us in this mess, and it's going to take housing to get us out. So I'd like to extend the tax credits for first-time home buyers. I'd like to juice up the economy where we can by really stimulating it. The stimulus package...
But isn't that more spending? I mean, that's one of the things we saw with
that's tax policy, investment policy. Reward people for buying a house. Growing the government doesn't create jobs, it just creates more debt. The stimulus bill that our Democratic friends passed missed the mark. We've lost 2.5 million jobs. If you want to stimulate the economy, keep taxes low, help people who are unemployed, but eventually try to create an entrepreneurial environment in this country. We're the second highest tax nation in the world. Tax policy is about keeping jobs in America. Tax policy is about creating jobs. And if you expand the tax code, you expand the government's footprint in America, you crowd out the private sector.
A question about the midterms. We've seen the rise, of course, of the Tea Party. You've seen that in your own state, and you've been challenged for not being conservative enough. But how would you define a conservative in today's elections?
Let's put it this way. Ronald Reagan did it pretty well. If you agree with me 80% of the time, you're my friend. I have a 90% lifetime American conservative union voting record. I got the Hero of the Taxpayer Award. I'm 100% pro-life. I've got an A rating with the NRA. But I am willing to reach across the aisle on immigration, on trying to get our fiscal house in order. I think we need a constitutional amendment to balance the budget.
Are you concerned, though, about the Tea Party potentially taking votes away from Republicans, again, splitting the vote, and then you see another Democratic
I don't think that's going to happen in November. I'm concerned about primaries like Delaware. Could the lady who's challenging Mike Castle win? It looks kind of bleak there. I want coalitions. The Tea Party is an essential element in the coalition I'm trying to build. I'd like to have conservative Democrats. Ronald Reagan, they were Ronald Reagan Democrats.
Is that possible, though?
Yeah, I think so.
He's thinking this time.
Yeah, there are a lot of Democrats who don't like the Obama agenda, think, I didn't vote for this. There are moderate Republicans who are socially liberal but fiscally conservative. Let's get all these groups together. The Tea Party, traditional Republicans, socially liberal Republicans who are fiscally conservative, along with conservative Democrats, and govern this country. You need all of the above. I'm into coalition building, and the Tea Party is an essential part of the coalition.
It sounds like a political Match.com, if you will. You're bringing people together.
America's about addition, not subtraction. Politics is about addition, not subtraction. And the Tea Party has every reason to be angry at the way we're running the government up here. We're spending money that no one in the future can afford to pay back, and we've lost our way when it comes to constitutional limited government. They're right about that, but we've got to solve problems like immigration and energy problems. So there's a place to compromise. There's a time to say no.
Interesting. Senator, we appreciate you joining us today on set. Senator Graham, and look forward to talking about those issues in the future with you as well, sir.
More to come.
Thank you so much. John?
Jenna, a moment ago, I